Chapter 4, Funny Life. I'm awake. I try to get comfortable, but I can't anymore. I try and relax through this slight discomfort, but I can't find the zen. I try to breathe slowly and calm my pacing heart, but they're mostly unresponsive. I'm a wreck. My eyes feel sunken like a skull, and my mouth is arid. What happened last night? I kicked off most of my blankets, all of my pillows, and I was only half on the bed when I came to. I mean, I remember what happened, but was that a dream? I know I said that tiny place both is and isn't like a dream, but last night was different. It was different-er. As I shuffle into the kitchen for water, I notice the calendar. I thumb through the days we've passed this year, scrolling through a few pages worth of X's. I look at the numbers that represent today's date and consider what they mean to me. I promptly search again for my peace. Today is Cassandra's birthday. She's 34 now, probably out for a night on the town. I wonder if she still goes to Xanthus for her big occasions. It was always her favorite place to dine. We went there often. She's probably at the head of a long table with all of her suitors lining the sides, laughing at her oh-so-subtle jokes and commentating on her aesthetic choices as sports commentators might. Maybe I should go. I look at myself in the reflection of my toaster. It's aluminum, and its wide rectangular edges curve around the sides, pulling the picture, raising the brow, and tucking my chin. My head is quite square here, and my features are forward and pronounced. This goofy reflection is surprisingly flattering as it fills out my sunken features. Except on my forehead, two protrusions are symmetrically placed. Little black points, like fingernails, are sticking out of me, maybe centimeters tall. I feel for them, but don't find them among the wrinkles in my forehead. They must only be in the reflection where the screws hold the plate down, little divots or something. No, I shouldn't go find her. As things are and were when we left each other, it just doesn't seem wise. Besides, the last time we spoke was fairly definitive. She left to go overdose on pharmaceuticals. In my mind's eye, I try to play back the footage, this memory, but the picture is a little blurry. It's been at least 6 years now, of silence and meaningless conjecture. I'll try and make it right, accurate both factually and aesthetically. I find a soft palette and set a low aperture for that personal sort of feel. I play back at 0.9 times speed to accentuate it, the paces and the pauses and breaks in it. I slightly detune the focus very finely, and the light begins to blur. This show, my life, begins to play back in my head. Although, unfortunately, this playback plays backwards. A black blur emerges and transforms into the foreground as a medley of radiant colors. The door opens, and when it closed, my ears pop, and there was a straining ring, almost waking me up into life. The scattered tissues jump onto her lap as she sits in the passenger seat. The windows all fogged up with condensation, with little finger lines trailed and looping on the window, partially cracked with ash clinging to the moisture. You know, and just in case you didn't, I didn't want to die this way. Tonight, alone or this sad or any of it. Her face is soaked and she can't keep her eyes open. All you had to do was try. But hey, it's a funny life. You could feel the hellfire in her tone. She pulls in a full lungful of the dense air and a twisting twin trail of smoke snakes into her nostrils. The fine details start to return slightly, less diffracted by the soft, noble, gaseous lighting as she exhales fire back into the cigarette. My air pulls on this web of gases and fine particles, and a slight standing wave forms in the murk of my memory. You have choices, we all have choices, I say blankly. I just can't choose them for you. Hell, I can barely choose for myself sometimes, you know. And I get it, it's just a word, but I can't promise anything in a world like this, all wild and fierce. I don't want to change lives. I don't want to muddle with it and get my hands dirty with all these outcomes. Everyone should do whatever it is they want, whatever. This was not what I'd wanted to say. I wanted to scream my love for her into the heavens and be damned how I understood it or what it means to anyone else, that is. It wasn't about them or me. It wasn't for them or me. I missed my last chance here, making this dumb face, trying to think beautiful thoughts in this ugly life. You won't even try. Her tone drops, and her lips quiver. She's trying to hold it all in, to posture up to me and show me how far past herself she's willing to go. I sit still, heavy-hearted in silence. Just tell me you love me, Saul. Just say it once, please. For me. Her brow is tense, and those eyes begin to gloss, gleaming back at me, just waiting to spill over from the brewing tidal forces. I feel like I'm running out of choices. Sometimes I think I understand it, but I mostly just don't. I stammer in, unsure where I'm heading. What went wrong? The nature of love? It's nebulous. It's arbitrary. It's like actually hard for me, you know? I feel a lot of things all the time, a bombardment of feelings, and it's desensitizing. I worry, I doubt a lot. I'm jaded and worn thin from terminology. And yeah, maybe I could have tried more. So what? You could always try more or harder, couldn't you? It's all relative. Just do what you do and I'll do what I do. My words are sluggish and defensive. There's a notably pensive tone to my voice. Where did it all go wrong? Are we just gonna let it end like this? Not even trying, in silent consent? She lights her cigarette. She's firm. She needs to know. She didn't arrange to see me without a goal. She knew what she wanted and where she wanted to go with all this. She was to show me her reserve and determination. I feel like a fool, like you knew all along that this was gonna happen, that one day you were just gonna be done. You told me you wouldn't. Then it's not like that. Well, tell me, what is it like? The car door barely closes before the words come pouring out. They're somewhat rehearsed, but not very structured. She's scared and is prone to escalating things out of fear. I couldn't know exactly what she had in mind in that wild, dreamy little head of hers. How far gone things can get so quickly. I'm in my car, gripping the steering wheel. I'm waiting for something. Wait, I'm Saul Robertson. The year is 2039. I'm 27. No, this can't be right. I'm quite a bit heavier. My shoes are too nice, and I'm in a different vehicle than I had then. I'm at a restaurant that wasn't built at that time, which serves bizarre indigenous food from some country you'd probably never actually want to visit. I think I lost time again. Damn, 3 hours just gone. And worse yet, I was driving. I start to wonder if that is a finable offense when I decide instead to check my car for damage. Rounding my way to the passenger side, I notice, through the restaurant window, a vague black smear. As I'm drawn closer, color starts to return, and the fine detail of a silhouette emerges. The hair was so blonde it was almost white, pulled back neatly, the nose pointed upwards in that poised and dignified way, and there was a strong, well-composed posture. A flood of bags and computers and coats sprawl around her, disarraying and displacing her work surface, the dining table. There are at least 4 cups on the table, most with several straws. The plates stacked neat and cleanly, and all were exclusively those smaller appetizer plates. And although there were no suitors around a long table, it was nevertheless my Cassandra, tirelessly busy, muddled in her work on her birthday, alone on a cluttered table. I want to go inside, walk right on in and sit behind her. No, that'd probably come off wrong. I'll do one better. I'll just go sit right next to her. Or is that too forward? Maybe I should be seated by the greeter and pretend I'm not standing here now thinking about it. But then I have no choice about seating, really. I mean, they always ask if the spot is fine, but you can't just say no to that. It's against some rule or something. I frown slightly and grow ever more hungry. I start swaying back and forth between going inside to eat and back to my car. I don't know, whatever. I'll just go home and save myself the time, expense, and embarrassment. And even though that was my intent, to go home and forget about it, that was not what I actually wanted. Here, now, at home, in this home for 2, I sprawl out on the love seat. I have bags of dehydrated protein giblets lining this couch with me that I greedily hoard into my body, and my fingers are slick with their lipid oils. I'm lethargic now. Every screen in the house, from my computer to my smart fridge, notifying me of messages and calls, and I haven't looked yet. I walk to the master bathroom, past the 2-sink counter, and into the spacious shower. I set the water as hot as I can stand it, and limply lean my body into the glass at an acute angle as the water pours over me. My messages start to play. Just work, it's always work. Saul, you have to see what Proto Labs cooked up. Meet us down at Beta Productions ASAP. You're gonna want to be in on this. It's Steven, the project manager, my boss. He's dressed slick, yet casually, hair a little ruffled from his pacing and overly expressive body language. I know you've been sick, bud, but this is it. This will be the big thing, I'm telling you. We need you to get down here as soon as possible. We'll be here. As I start to tune out the words in the drone of droplets, it dawns on me that maybe I should put in the extra effort. Maybe I should listen to my boss, to my conscience, or even just my intuition. Maybe if I'm not motivated to change or save someone else's life, I could be driven to save my own. I search for stillness, and I search for composure, but there is no peace for me now. I search further yet for my sense of purpose and drive, and all my wild-eyed dreams well up from within, all small and naive in that sort of childishly honest yet inaccurate way. It's funny how we've turned our dreams, that which we desire above all else, into dreams, those nonsensical little picture shows that play in your unconscious mind. How we've secretly held what we truly desire in our life as equivalent to some sort of perverse fantasy, something that shouldn't be allowed to happen, even though it may be the only reason we've ever left our beds. to make something of this life, of this world, that is an analog to the openness and abject freedom of thought, all sprawling and endless. It's a funny life.